Can you actually have it all? Huge financial success and genuine, deep happiness? For most of us, those two things feel like they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. But for Naval Ravikant, a Silicon Valley investor turned modern-day philosopher, they're not just connected. They are skills that anyone can learn. And this right here is Naval's big, bold take on how the world works today. It's not just about working hard anymore. It's about being smart and using something he calls leverage. Honestly, if you can wrap your head around this one idea, you're halfway to understanding his entire philosophy.
So, here's the plan. First, we're going to meet the man himself. Then, we'll dive deep into his playbook for hacking both wealth and happiness. And finally, we'll take a step back and look at some critiques, to see the whole picture.
So, who is this guy, Naval Ravikant? Well, on paper, he's a super successful entrepreneur and investor. But here's the thing. He's become world famous for the incredible clarity of his thinking, which he often shares in these epic tweet storms, like his most famous one, How to Get Rich Without Getting Lucky.
And all this wisdom, it's not just scattered tweets anymore. It's been collected from years of podcasts, interviews, you name it, and put into a book called The Almanack of Naval Ravikant. It's basically his guide to life, and it's the foundation for everything we're about to dive into.
All right, let's get into the first big pillar, building wealth. And Naval is adamant about this. This isn't about getting lucky. It's a skill you can learn. It's a system you can actually build.
Okay, so the very first thing you need to get is this absolutely crucial distinction Naval makes. He says money, that's just how we transfer wealth. And status, that's just your spot in this social pecking order. He thinks both of them are traps. Real wealth, he says, is something else entirely.
So here it is, the big idea. Wealth is about ownership. It's having assets that are working for you around the clock. Think about a business that's running, code that's executing, or media that's being consumed, all while you're sleeping or on vacation. It's about creating systems that bring in income without you actively trading your time for it.
So how do you actually build these systems? Well, Naval says it all boils down to just two things: specific knowledge and leverage. Let's break those down.
Specific knowledge. This isn't the stuff you cram for in college. You can't get a degree in it. It's that unique thing that you're obsessed with, that you're naturally curious about. It's the stuff that feels like play to you, but looks like hard work to everyone else. It's basically your own personal superpower. Okay, so you found your superpower. Now what? Well, you've got to amplify it. And that is where leverage comes in. Think of leverage as the tool that takes your unique knowledge and judgment and creates a massively outsized result. You see, leverage itself has evolved. The old school ways were labor, having people work for you, and capital, having money work for you. But you needed someone's permission for those. But here's the game changer. Today's most powerful forms of leverage are permissionless. Anyone with a laptop can create code or media, basically little robots that work for you 24/7 at no cost to replicate. And with AI, this is just getting supercharged. And this just fundamentally changes the whole game of work. Instead of renting out your time for an hourly wage, you're earning with your mind. Your income is totally disconnected from the hours you put in. You stop grinding out a 40-hour week and start working like an athlete. You sprint, give it everything you've got, and then you rest and recover while your systems keep working for you. Okay, so you've built the wealth machine, but that's only half the puzzle, right? Naval argues that happiness, just like wealth, isn't something you go out and find. It's a skill you actually develop. It is a completely internal game. So what's his core idea here? It's that happiness is actually our natural default state. It's what's left when you take away the feeling that something is missing in your life. And what creates that missing feeling? Desire. Every time we want something external, we're basically signing a contract with ourselves to be unhappy until we get it. So how do you work on this skill? Well, his approach is pretty radical. He doesn't see meditation as some fluffy relaxation technique. For him, it's a tool for ruthless self-examination that should fundamentally change who you are. It should make you question everything: your job, your friends, your habits. And his actual practice sounds so simple, it's almost deceptive. Sit by yourself for an hour. That's it. Don't chant a mantra, don't focus on your breath. You just sit there and let your brain do its thing. He says if you do this for about 60 days, you'll clear out your entire mental inbox, and you'll find your baseline level of anxiety just drops. Now, look, Naval's ideas are incredibly powerful, but no philosophy is perfect, right? To really get the full picture, we have to look at some of the critiques and potential blind spots in how he sees the world. So Naval has a really optimistic take on success. He basically believes that people who reach the top do so because they've proven themselves to be trustworthy, high-integrity people over the long haul. But the critique here is that this might be a little naive. It kind of overlooks the fact that some people who are great at manipulation, who are narcissistic, these so-called dark triad personalities, they often play the game of power really, really well, and also rise to the top, sometimes without much integrity at all. Okay, here's another one that goes against pretty much all standard career advice. Naval says if you just focus on building something amazing and valuable, you don't need to go out and network. The right people and the best opportunities will just naturally find their way to you. And the pushback on this is pretty straightforward. This advice is great, but it might only work for a tiny group of people who are already creating something incredible. For most of us just starting out, strategic networking isn't a waste of time. It can be an absolutely essential way to create those very opportunities Naval is talking about. So whether you agree with every single point or not, this final idea from Naval is a really powerful one to chew on. It suggests that most of what we do day to day, in our jobs, in our learning, in our relationships, it doesn't really matter. It's just noise. So the real challenge he leaves us with is this: stop wasting your time on the 99% that doesn't move the needle. Your job is to ruthlessly identify that tiny 1%, the one project, the one relationship, the one skill that will deliver almost all of the results. And once you find it, you go all in. And that brings us right back to you. After all of this, after hearing all these ideas about wealth and happiness and leverage and focus, what's the one thing, the one idea that really hit home? What is your 1%?